So if this is you, today I've got a few keys to finally overcome the dreaded cast and start hitting it more like this. Hey everybody, Milo Lines out here at beautiful Superstition Mountain. We have Henry here with us as well today. And Henry, we've got a good video today on the dreaded cast.
Ooh, casting. That's like one of my least favorite things to see in a golf swing.
And it's probably one of the more common things we do see.
Oh, it's very prevalent. And the thing is though, when you really look at the best players in the world and their golf swings, no one has it. No one really casts it out. There usually is some amount or a fair amount of angle coming down, and even sometimes in the backswing there's a pretty good amount of angle.
Yeah, almost always, if we were looking at the swing from a face-on, the angle that's there at left arm parallel on the downswing is more than what we saw going back. Often when we look at our students on our online academy, we see this angle here, and then we see the same angle there again.
And this is such a killer. It deprives you of power, speed, and contact, because now low point becomes a big issue. When you start throwing this out, well, okay, I better start standing up to make room for that club to bottom out. But most people, that's when they start chunking it or they lean back and thin it. So low point, contact, compression, all those kind of go out the door.
Speed, gone.
Speed gone. So how we could maybe simply define this, the way we see sort of casting is you can maybe kind of put it to a relationship with the left arm. And what we see is sort of a straight line between the arm and the instrument, the club, happening too early. With the better players, you're going to tend to see that straight line happening somewhere after impact. You know, at worst, impact, right?
Yeah.
You would say. But somewhere after impact
Would be the preferred.
Right. If you're a little bit of a slower player, you need a little more height, maybe a little more at impact is about right for you, and that's totally fine. But we definitely do not want to see it somewhere
there
back here in the downswing. And we do. We
all the
see
time.
that all the time.
All the time.
The hands get kind of left behind their thigh. They get all this like thrown out. Ooh,
Yeah.
It's a tough pattern to overcome.
What I see is a lot of power coming from wrist, forearm, and like shoulder.
Moving internally.
Internal rotation.
Yep, boom. And that kind of couples with the pelvis almost rising, the legs almost straightening a little bit. So there's no down, there's no pressure getting into the lead side. There's almost like a little float load, you could call it. Some people have talked about that in the past. I'm not a huge fan of like wide to narrow, but some of that concept isn't so bad for somebody that's the opposite.
Yeah. So what I say is they're not loading things in the right order. Usually they loaded things too early or never at all.
Yeah.
I want to see the arms getting fully loaded kind of in the transitional drop.
So you're seeing this right here.
That's
boom.
what I want to see. So a little falling, and now everything's fully loaded. Now you can just let it happen. It can unwind.
So the reason I have this long white PVC pipe, this is about 5 feet long, it's a great training aid. I use this for a lot of things. I use it for alignment stick, but I also use it for training the golf swing. And what you can do is if you struggle with casting, the old, fishing, where your wrists go out, if you want something to quickly sort of work on that and fix that, you can take one of these pipes, kind of grip. I like to get like a couple feet down on it, almost the middle, and have it outside my left hip socket. So now I am at setup. It might be a little more lean forward than I would with a normal club.
Yeah.
But I need to have it outside I can't have it in my stomach. That doesn't quite work. So I'm gonna have it right here. And now I can actually make swings where I have to avoid myself. If I cast it out, ooh, that's gonna whack me. Now we got some pretty sore and black and blue ribs, right? So I gotta figure out how to get this around the corner and maintain some of those angles, or even increase some of those angles in transition.
Perfect.
You can go slow. I can almost point this stick right at the ball And there we go. I kind of have that 90 set up with my left arm and the club or the shaft here, just like you would see with a lot of tour pros. And then figure out how to then turn the corner to get down through the ball and not hit myself. I wouldn't recommend doing this very fast right out of the gate. You know, if you're using like a broom, you could do it with a club gripped halfway down. You could do it with a alignment stick. Anything that's really a shaft essentially, but I would start slow.
Now there's a couple ways I see people cheat this that I want to make sure that people understand.
For sure.
Swing it up. Now what if you took your arms and you just fired them across your middle and you didn't turn? So you're not going to hit yourself, right?
Right.
But that's horrible.
Everything's closed off.
One way I see people cheat it.
The relationship I look for is really getting this stick sort of lined up parallel with my chest. So I got it parallel somewhere about here in the downswing, and then I can keep turning with that all the way through. So it's pretty parallel. Versus this one definitely is not parallel.
Nope.
And my arms are crossing me.
Arms are passing your midline. We don't want them passing your midline until the ball's gone.
So you feel like your hands are right of
your
sternum.
center.
Boom, 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 boom. So it's kind of that late hit or delayed strike we've talked about.
Speed out front, however we want to phrase it.
But I've gotten pretty good where I can make some fairly fast swings here, not hit myself. Now granted, there might be a little more hold on or retention of the angles. I'm not letting it out as much because I don't want to hit myself. But again, for somebody that's been casting for maybe 20 years, you got to make a change. You got to exaggerate. You got to slow it down. Okay, Milo, so you brought us over to the maintenance area here and we got a wall. So what are we doing over here?
So we're going to use this wall to force ourselves not to cast it for a second. Learn what it feels like to be able to shift, land, turn, and not be throwing the club back behind us so much. A drill I've used often with casters is I'll get them to set up far enough away from the wall where they could make an actual backswing. So I can make a backswing, and now I'm going to take a nice step toward the wall. So if I let my arms out, that club's hitting the wall pretty fast.
You need a new set of clubs.
Yep. And these are brand new and I don't want to make them.
You could turn it upside down, but for our purposes, we're going to force you guys not to scrape up your club.
Yes. So once I'm pretty close to this wall. So now if I land and I unwind, you can see it's not going to hit the wall.
There we go.
And so maybe you get a foam ball and you practice hitting a foam ball or something. It's a drill.
Yeah.
But it's a good one to give you a new perspective, a new map in your mind. Okay, so I normally go this way. Now I want to go this way. Yeah. And you can feel, oh yeah, no, I'm not gonna hit the wall.
If I turn this upside down, I might just kind of come in here and already have it set, and then I'll get it, I won't change my angles, I'll get it on the wall and then almost keep it on the wall for like a couple feet here. Just to feel almost, I made a little chalk mark here, a little drag on that wall. And again, like these are pretty exaggerated. People are gonna, some people might watch this and say, oh, well, that's way too much angle. Well, if you've been casting your whole life,
you're not gonna get that much angle.
No, and honestly, like if you strike anything, like we've shown a lot of baseball videos, there's no baseball player that's in the big leagues that goes like this with the bat. They all carry that angle and retain some of that angle into the ball. It's just not how you strike something. It's not athletic.
No.
If I was gonna go chop a tree, I would not chop a tree with an axe like this. There's just no power in that. I gotta be able to brace myself and really strike that thing.
Well, in the secret, it's all in the sequence. Power comes from the middle out to the hands. If you're a caster, power is coming from the outside. And that's basically what it comes down to.
Okay, so Milo, we've sort of shown them a progression here. We started with that PVC pipe to kind of just do some air swings, encourage a little bit more angle in the wrist and retaining that angle using our turn. And then we went over and did some stuff with the wall to kind of further that point, some stuff they can do at the house. The last piece I like is sort of a tool that can further force this issue, further exaggerate wrist angles.
Exaggeration and reinforcement.
So what I've put on is the hanger here, this tool we've used before, and we really recommend it for people who struggle with wrist conditions. It's a really good training aid, especially if your face gets kind of funky too, right?
Yeah.
So we have it set up here. We set it up a little differently. We talk about that in other videos, so you can go watch those. But for our purposes today, again, we're really trying to get away from this casting move, okay? Now when I cast this out, you're gonna see that barrier here wants to line up more with my right arm, and that face gets more open. Okay, so I've lost all the extension in my right wrist. I've lost some amount of radial in my left wrist, and it's all dished out, casted.
100%.
Milo, why don't you show me what you would like to see happen here in transition?
Okay, so turn it up like a golf swing, and I want to see this trail wrist go into extension. The rail of the hanger is going to feel like it really is jamming against your...
up into my, the lower part of my forearm here.
Yeah, so that's staying this way, all the way down. Something like that.
So that's still loaded up.
Still loaded. You haven't lost your radial, you've lost maybe some of the extension in your lead wrist, but there's still some amount of radial in it, and then the trail wrist is very extended still, pretty late in the downswing, so that extension can come out much later
versus this is
happening
really
early.
You can see that green part is almost moving more on the opposite side of my right forearm, whereas now the green part is almost under my left forearm.
Yes.
So I'm keeping that green part under that left forearm. I'm not letting it creep this way. That would be casting right there.
100%.
So I gotta keep it that way. Okay, so I'm gonna go up to the top. I'm gonna go really slow here and really feel that kind of push into that left forearm and see if I can maintain it and hit just this little low flighty one. Ooh, that's tough. All right, that was pretty good though. Everyone on videos watching, oh, he hit it thin, he topped it, he didn't get it airborne, but that's training speed.
You didn't cast it.
That's slow, and I did not cast it.
Yeah.
So what it actually does is it forces you now to say, oh, now I can actually flex and get down to the ball and turn the corner. So I actually don't think I got quite enough down because I had this shaft so much shorter. So let's do it where I actually really feel like I go, ooh, get down to that ball a little bit more. There we go. It's a little better. And I wouldn't hit full speed with this.
No.
I would just go slow, and I'm really, again, forcing some new angles to be developed. That's what I'm doing.
100%.
So let's show that face on real quick. All right, here we go. So you guys can see how that's set up. It's kind of on my right forearm. And now somewhere in the backswing, I'm gonna start to get it to my left and really feel like it's on my left, pushing into my left. And look at that angle. I got plenty of that angle where I can then turn into it and even feel like I maintain it on the front side, because most of you want to cast it and pass it. I'm gonna cast and pass. That's good, right? I'm gonna feel like I load it and tow it. How about that?
Beautiful.
Okay. So we're gonna load it, tow it. Okay, a little thin, but again, that was pretty good with maintaining the angles. Now I have permission to stay down, turn the corner. So thanks everybody for watching. If you've been a caster for 10, 20, 30 years, watch this video a few times. I really think it'll help you guys understand and train how to start getting a little more bit of a powerful wrist angle there established, and then how that can match up with better sequence and pivot. So we got to get rid of the old fishing out of the top, right?
And nothing good happens there. Hope you liked the video. If you did, hit that like and subscribe button. Come visit us at milolinesgolf.com, where we can help you swing more like an athlete.
See you guys.